Assalamualaikum students. Today we will study lesson number 5 and 6 of Step by Step English Grammar Class 5, and the pages we are going to cover today are page number 19 to 24. So let's start with lesson number 5. The topic is sentences. Dear students, in this lesson, like the previous one, we are going to cover some components of a sentence. This lesson is about phrase. Let's start with definition and particulars of the phrase. A phrase is basically a group of words that has neither a subject nor a verb. It means the group of words that is called phrase should never have a subject and a verb. We will discuss phrase in examples. You will be clear about the phrase. The second important thing about the phrase is that it does not make sense on its own. It gives sense only when it is arranged in a sentence. That means a phrase cannot stand alone. It is a group of words, meaningful words, but it does not give any sense on its own. It can act like a noun, a verb, or an adverb. Let us understand these things with the help of examples. Here you are given some examples of phrase. Let's discuss example number 1. The sun sets in the west. In these examples, phrase is highlighted in red color. So, in the west is a phrase. As we have discussed previously, that phrase is a group of words. So tell me, is it a group of words? In the west? Yes, it is a group of words. A phrase neither has a subject nor a verb. Can you tell me if there is any subject in the phrase in the west? In? Is it a subject? No. The. Is it a subject? No. West. Is it a subject? No. So, this phrase, in the west, has no subject. Is there any verb in it? No. There is no verb in it as well. The second thing, phrase does not give complete sense on its own. In the west is not giving complete sense if we separate it from the rest of the sentence. But it gives a sense when it is arranged in a sentence. For example, the sun sets in the west. When we read the whole sentence, it is giving us complete sense. The phrase is contributing to the meaning of sentence. But when we separate it from the rest of the sentence, it does not give us complete sense. The third important thing about phrase is that it can act like noun, adverb, or adjective. So let's see if the phrase in the west is acting like anyone, a noun, adverb, or adjective. In the west, the sun sets in the west. It is an adverb as it is contributing to the meanings of verb. Where does sun set? The sun sets in the west. In the west is an adverb, so we can say that phrase can act like a noun, adverb, or adjective. Now let's move to sentence number 2. Cutting down trees is crime. The words highlighted in red, cutting down trees, is a phrase. So ask yourself, is it a group of words? Is it a group of words? Yes, it is. Then ask if cutting down trees has any subject or any verb. No, it does not have any subject or verb. Does it make any sense when it is on its own? If we separate it from the rest of the sentence is crime, does it give any complete sense? No, it's not giving any complete sense. So this is a phrase. And is it acting like a noun, adverb, or adjective? Cutting down trees is crime. Cutting down trees is noun to this sentence. So we can say that phrase is acting like a noun. Next sentence. There was something sinister about the man with old worn-out hat. Here the word sinister means evil, and the phrase is with the old worn-out hat. This phrase describes the noun, that is the man. With the old worn-out hat is describing the man, so this phrase is serving like an adjective. Did you get the idea of phrase? Are you clear about what a phrase is? Can you identify phrases in a sentence? Let us understand with the help of examples. Let's move to our exercise. Let us understand. In this exercise, you are given the options, choices that are phrases. Let us have a look on them. To have lunch. This is a phrase. Around grandmother. With the red hair. With great relish. For their host team. These 5 are phrases. These 5 are separately groups of words. All 5 groups of words have no subject and no verb. And these phrases are not given complete sense on their own. Let's fill them in the sentences to make the sentences complete. The old man dash is a detective. The phrase we are going to fill here should be an adjective that would be describing the man. The man dash is a detective. Let us look at the choices. To have lunch. The man to have lunch. No, it is not making any sense. The man around grandmother. No, it is also not giving any sense. The man with the red hair is a detective. Yes, it is suitable. It is giving us complete sense. Kelly and I went to the canteen. Look at the choices and complete the sentence. Kelly and I went to the canteen to have lunch around grandmother with the red hair with great relish for their host team. Yes, to have lunch. The children sat dash to listen to her stories. Complete the exercise, please. The cricket fans cheered loudly. The baby is eating the pudding. Look at the choices and complete the sentences on your own. Let's move to practice exercise A. It says, find the phrases and underline them. You only will be able to find the phrases if you understand the idea of phrase completely. Let us move to the example number 1. I bought this dress from the new store. The word italicized from the new store is phrase here. I bought this dress. I is subject, bought is verb, this dress is object. From the new store is adverb. So this is phrase, adverb phrase. Let's move to example number 2. Mandy has invited us to her birthday party. Again, this is solved for you. Italicized word. To her birthday party is phrase. Sentence number 3, 4 and 5 is for you to do by yourself. Let's now move to practice exercise B. You are given column A and column B. Column A and B both contain phrases that are opposite to each other. What you have to do that match the opposite phrases to each other. For example, inside the room. Find its opposite on the other column. In a polite way, before midnight, at dinner, outside the room. Yes, inside the room matches outside the room. in front of the gate. Let's find its matching column. In a polite way, before midnight, at dinner, outside the room, up the slopes, down the hill, behind the gate. In front of the gate matches behind the gate. So complete the rest of the exercise. Move to practice exercise C. In this exercise, you are given 8 sentences and you will have to add phrases of your own. I have done 2 sentences for you. Honey came home to invite us. And here we have to add phrase, and I added the phrase to her birthday party. Honey came home to invite us to her birthday party. So, to her birthday party is a phrase and it is also contributing to the sentence. It is a very suitable phrase to this sentence. Sentence number 2. The big truck broke down and I added the phrase on the road. In this way, complete the rest of the exercise. You can also take the phrases from practice exercise B if you find anyone suitable. The sentences are: he kept his umbrella, the plane took off, I went with Benji, the teacher praised him, our cricket team has gone to Manchester, Rita waited at the bus stop. If you are clear about the idea of phrase, then do this exercise by yourself. Take your time. It's quite simple. You can do it. Well, here you are given suggested answer to let us understand exercise A and exercise C. You can fill these answers in your books at the provided spaces. You are given answers to let us understand exercise A and exercise C. Still unclear? You can replay the video. If there is any question, please feel easy to contact. Moving to our next lesson, that is lesson number 6, sentences. And the idea we are going to cover in this lesson is clause. Clause is a bigger entity than phrase. In previous lesson, we have read that phrase does not give complete sense on its own, but a clause can give complete sense on its own. Let's start with definition of clause. A clause is a group of words that gives complete meaning. A clause must have a subject and a verb. In previous lesson, phrase, we have studied that a phrase must not have a subject or a verb, and the clause is opposite to it. A clause must have a subject and a verb. We can also join clause to other phrases and other clauses. Let us understand with the help of examples what a clause is. What you are doing? I walked the whole day till I was exhausted. You are given 3 examples of clause. In first example, what you are doing? Find the subject. You. In bold black, you. This is subject. Find the verb. Doing. Highlighted in red color. Doing. This is verb. Let's see if this example fulfills the requirements of a clause. What you are doing. Is it a group of words? Yes, it is a group of words. It also have a subject and a verb. So, it gives complete meaning as well. So, this is a clause. I walked the whole day. Look at the subject. I is subject. Look at the verb. Walked is verb. I walked the whole day. This is a group of words that has a subject and a verb. And it is giving us complete sense that somebody has worked the whole day. He has been walking the whole day. Next example is till I was exhausted. Look at the subject, I, and verb, exhausted. A group of words having a subject and a verb is a clause. So this is a clause. But the use of word till at the beginning shows that the meanings are still incomplete. There is something more about this clause. So this clause can be joined to other clauses. If you make it like, I worked the whole day till I was exhausted. This is a complete sentence that has two clauses. Let us move to main clause and second clause. And we will be clear about the idea of clause, main clause and second clause. Look at the example. I worked the whole day till I was exhausted. Example number 1 is a sentence, a complete sentence that has two clauses. A sentence have any number of clauses. It can have one clause, two clauses, three clauses, or more than three clauses. But if a sentence has more than one clauses, the one clause would be the main clause and all the other clauses would be second clauses, dependent clauses. Like that, this sentence has two clauses. I worked the whole day till I was exhausted. One clause would be the main clause and the other would be the second clause. Let us see which one is the main clause and which one is the second clause. A main clause is a clause that can exist alone, that can give complete meaning on its own. So, let us look at the example, I walked the whole day. This clause is giving complete meaning on its own. So, this is main clause, highlighted in blue color. The second clause is a clause that needs a main clause to give complete sense. Till I was exhausted, as we have discussed earlier, that the use of word till, that is a conjunction, shows that it needs some main clause to give complete meaning. So highlighted in green color is second clause. Moving to next example. After finishing his homework, he went off to sleep. Second clause is highlighted in green color and main clause is highlighted in blue color. Let us look at main clause first. He went off to sleep. Is it giving any complete sense? Yes, it is giving complete sense on its own. So this is main clause. He went off to sleep. After finishing his homework is second clause because the use of conjunction at the beginning, the word after, shows that it needs some main clause to give complete meaning. It needs something more to give complete meaning. So this is second clause. Here you can see it is not ever necessary that the main clause will be at the beginning of the sentence. The main clause and second clause can switch their places. Moving to next example, after the movie was over, we walked back home. Like the previous one, we walked back home is main clause because it is giving us complete meaning, and after the movie was over is second clause because the use of conjunction after at the beginning shows that it needs something more. It needs more information to give complete sense. So we can say that second clause always starts with a conjunction, till and after, like in these examples, till I was exhausted. Till in this example, after finishing his homework, after the movie was over, after in these two examples, these two are conjunctions and it is easy to identify second clause as it always starts with a conjunction. Let's move to our exercise. Let us understand. It asks that Underline the main clause. You have to identify the main clause and then underline it. It is very easy. How do you identify main clause? All these sentences have two clauses only. First, identify the clauses. Separate the group of words that has subject and verb. In all these examples, there are two clauses, and both clauses have a subject and both clauses have a verb. Let us first identify the clauses. In example 1, she was fined by the traffic police because she had parked the car on the main road. Find the subject. The very first subject is she. Find the verb. Was fined. She was fined by the traffic police. This is a clause. The second clause, because she had parked the car on the main road. Find the subject, she, and verb, had parked the car on the main road. Had parked. She had parked the car on the main road is the other clause. Which one is main clause and which one is second clause? It is very easy to identify because second clause starts with the conjunction like if, because, and, but, so, although, when, before, after, and etc. What do you think? Which one is second clause? Because she had parked the car on the main road. This is second clause. And which is main clause? She was fined by the traffic police. So underline the main clause. She was fined by the traffic police. Sentence number 2. If you want to run a good business, you must be honest and hardworking. Which one is first clause and which one is second clause? These two clauses are separated with a comma. So find the second clause first. If you want to run a good business, you must be honest and hardworking. Look at the start of both clauses. The second clause must be starting with a conjunction. If you want to run a good business, if is a conjunction. So this is second clause. You have to find the main clause and underline it. You must be honest and hardworking is the main clause. Underline it on your books. Sentence number 3. Heavy losses were reported from all cities after the earthquake struck. Do it on your own. Number 4. We had to throw away the apples because they were rotting. Find the main clause and underline it on your books. Number 5. Tigers become man-eaters only when they are deprived of their natural food and shelter. Tigers become man-eaters only when they are deprived of their natural food or shelter. So find the second clause and identify the main clause and underline the main clause. Let's move to practice exercise A. This exercise says, complete the sentences by adding a second clause. A bit difficult task. You will have to add the second clause on your own, but not impossible. You can use your knowledge to complete these sentences. I have done one sentence for you. Molten lava flew down the sides of the hill. And I have given the second clause, when the volcano erupted. You have to consider two things. First, that you are completing it with a clause, and second, that the clause is a second clause. Like, when the volcano erupted is a clause, as it has a subject, the volcano, and a verb, erupted. And it is second clause because it starts with the conjunction when. When the volcano erupted. Sentence number 2, 3 and 4 are for you to do by yourself. Dash. I could see the shores quite clearly. He put away his books. I'm curious to know. Like I have solved sentence number 1, you have to solve sentence number 2, 3 and 4. Give a clause to sentence number 2. When you could be able to see the shores quite clearly. You must have some idea. Practice these exercises. You are given the answers at the end. Let's move to practice exercise B. It says add a main clause. Again the same thing. You will have to add a clause, but this time the clause would be main clause, not the second clause. You are given second clauses here. Because they were making mischief. Because they did not like the tax policy. Whose name was Ned. I have solved sentence number 1 for you. Because they were making mischief. What happened when they were making mischief? They were punished. I have given you a main clause. They were punished. This is a clause because this has a subject, they, and a verb, were punished. So this is a main clause and it is giving us complete meaning if it stands alone. They were punished is a complete sentence. So this is a main clause. They were punished. The complete sentence is they were punished because they were making mischief. The second sentence is because they did not like the tax policy. The third is whose name was Ned. Think and fill the exercises. Practice exercise C. Underline the second clause or phrase. In these sentences, there is a second clause or a phrase with a main clause. If there is a second clause, we will have to underline it and put the C on it. If it is a phrase, we have to underline it and put a P on it. I have done 2 sentences for you. Number 1, he made a clever engine that could follow commands. This sentence has 2 clauses. He made a clever engine that could follow commands. This exercise will help you in finding the difference between phrase and clause. As he made a clever engine that could follow commands has 2 clauses. Because clause has subject and verb. And phrase does not have subject or verb. So, that could follow commands has subject, that, and verb follow. So, that could follow commands is clause. It is second clause because it is starting with that. So, we will underline it like this and put a C on it. Do it on your books. Sentence number 2. Jim lifted the rock without much effort. Jim lifted the rock is clause. Jim is subject and lifted is verb. So what is without much effort? Is it a clause or a phrase? Go to the definitions of clause and phrase. Find that a phrase does not have a subject and verb. It is a group of words without much effort, but it does not have a subject and verb. So this is a phrase and we are going to underline it like this and put a P on it. Do it on your books. Sentence number 3 and 4 are for you to complete. Do it on your own. And you are given answers here for exercise A, exercise B and exercise C. Dear students, all the work of grammar should be done on your books. I hope after listening to this video, you will be able to identify phrases and clauses and you will be able to differentiate between phrase and a clause. Take a very good care of you. Allah Hafiz.